please, I beg you, please call him and tell him I love him." With her leg up on the wall, Tabitha sat on this sickly yellow cement block in a detention room in an orange jumpsuit 4 times her size. Despite her ankle being packed in a mound of ice, you could plainly see how huge and deformed it was. Everything about Tabitha's situation was a picture of defeat. I pride myself on being able to communicate the meaning of an attorney-client relationship to my child clients. I am that hokey, naive believer in truth and the rule of law. I live by the adage that your justice is only as good as your lawyer. So that's what I tried to share with Tabitha when I entered her cement cell, and I explained I was a pro bono attorney sent to represent her against charges in juvenile court. Despite my best efforts to explain who I was and how I could help, she heard nothing. I was working so hard to connect, and all she heard was a voice from the outside who might connect her back to him. Please call him and tell him I love him. What struck me was how every time she said him, it was bathed in reverence, passion, devotion, and desperation. She told me in broken pieces over many days the 18 months she was trafficked, even though she couldn't face that fact. A runaway after countless fights with her mom, she had met him at a party, and to her that was the most important thing that had ever happened to her. She was mesmerized by him from the second he targeted her. He told her she was so beautiful, and he was the first boy who ever had. Him loved her and convinced her to go to Miami to see the world with him. And in Miami, that's when he first touched her. Exploring led to intimacy, led to being a couple, led to his needing to find money to support their hotel room home, led to his suggesting that if she loved him, she should help him by being with another boy just one time, which led her being sold to another boy, led to one more time, led to every week, led to every day. When she refused, he beat her. That led to his getting a new young girl, led to him making Tabitha watch the young girl and him together, led her to have to teach the young girl how to please him, led to his watching Tabitha and that young girl having sex, led to selling that to others to watch the girls, finally led to a gun to Tabitha's head while she held the young girl down while he had sex with her every way he wanted. The drugs numbed the girl's physical pain, but not the rest of it. So Tabitha didn't even think about how fast the car was going when she opened the door and rolled out on the highway. He never even stopped the car or slowed down. She broke her ankle in so many places it was nearly severed from her leg, and she was found hours later by the police, and she was arrested for raping and trafficking the young girl. I was ready to help and get her past these ridiculous charges and get her home. She was victimized at least as much as the victim, but the younger girl had been trained by him very well, and she told the police Tabitha was in control. He was still controlling that young girl, even when they were escaped. But even as she was facing these criminal charges, because of him, all Tabitha wanted was to make sure that he still loved her. She was 15 years old, and he had taught her that this was love. Tabitha needed to get her legal problems addressed so that she could get to the rest of her healing, and that was my job as her pro bono lawyer. To beat the case, I cross-examined a detective who himself didn't believe the 12-year-old when he had interviewed her, and she gave the story that he told her to. But the state brought charges anyway. Only because I could visit my client, my pro bono client, every day was I able to gain her trust, and finally she told me that they were both forced. We proved that through cross-examination of the police and through cross-examination of that young girl, but Tabitha couldn't defend herself at all. She could only nod. Because a court was able to reach out for pro bono help, I'm happy to say that an injustice was thwarted, but the legal solution was only one part of what Tabitha needed. She and others like her need so much more.